than we had this morning. We're really at around 350 acres and growing at this time. We do have a much better handle on structure protection on these homes. Those homes were evacuated last night between 6 and 7 o'clock after the fire crossed one of our control lines and was established underneath the ridge line. So we feel really good about the progress. Those homes are in good shape right now. We feel much better about the progress that was being made there, and firing operations will continue. We have crews up there that are burning out pockets of fuel underneath and behind those homes as well, and consuming any fuel that could potentially cause flare-ups if there were any embers or slop overs to those areas. We currently have a North Carolina Forestry Service tractor plow unit that is establishing good solid line in this area right here. The fire has progressed since this map was made down in this area. Also, it has progressed up here. It has stayed west of this road that you see right here around Division Alpha. There were some concerns today from citizens off the Macy's Lane there that we're seeing a little bit of active fire, but we have good hand line in there, and then that's what the dozer is working from north to south to improve and widen that hand line there as a good control line.
Do we expect the fire to get worse as the night comes tonight, or do you expect it to kind of stay where it's at?
Well, the fire is still moving at this time. As you can tell, the winds are starting to pick up. You know, as we get warmer and drier throughout the day, humidity drops, wind typically picks up, the fire becomes more active throughout the day. And our biggest concern right now is the wind that's going to come along with the rain that's forecast to come in starting around midnight tonight. Our concern is the wind getting here before the rain.
Can you talk about how quickly this fire has moved? Because it seems to, I mean, even when we got here just an hour ago, we've watched it dip below that tree line just with that line of fire. Talk to us about the speed with which it's moving.
Even I was surprised this morning upon arrival about 5 a.m. this morning how much the fire had moved over nighttime. Usually fire behavior decreases a lot at nighttime as the RHs go up and the wind diminishes. This fire was very active throughout the night. Backing fire as it progresses down the mountain usually moves more slowly. It did back very aggressively. It was quite surprising how fast the fire did move from the starting time sometime around, or the fire was called in sometime Saturday night around 7 to 7:30, 2 to 4 acres, and now we're sitting 2 days later, going into the second day or 2.5 days operational period. We're at over 350 acres at this time.
Do you mind drawing or pointing out on the map where I guess right now the evacuation zone stands, which houses are affected, and then maybe after that where you're considering if it goes beyond that?
Right. Well, the towers that you're seeing behind me are right here, just east of that fire perimeter. As far as those towers, communication towers and buildings in there, that infrastructure and the guide wires, we feel really good about the progress we've made there. These houses along Sourtown Mountain Road, there were about 12 of those houses that Emergency Management Stokes County did request the homeowners to evacuate last night, and then camp. There's a mountaintop youth camp in this area right here that was evacuated yesterday. There were about 50 children campers that were there. They were evacuated and they're all safe at their homes right now. Haynes Y Camp is down here. The fire is approaching very close to the camp. It is also very close to the Mountaintop Youth Camp, but we have many structural firefighters that are at both locations right now with structural engines ready to protect those structures, as well as we've got the fire engines and structural firefighters that are all along Sourtown Mountain Road as well to provide structural assistance to those homes.
What about beyond the Haynes camp? I'm looking at, the bottom right corner, and that's kind of where our diagram is kind of dipping down to. Is there anyone down in that area that, over the next next day or so if things don't go like we would like them to?
Yeah, we will. We're going to address. We'll see what happens with the rain, the rainfall amount, and the rainfall totals. Right now, there's nothing that's threatened there other than the camp. And if the rain happens to miss us or it's a minimal in rainfall totals, we will address those structures and provide protection for those homes as well.
And I saw on the press conference this morning that you expected around 100 firefighters today. Are there more? Are there less?
Yeah, there's probably, that number's probably pushing around 150, and that's North Carolina Forest Service personnel. Those are out-of-state firefighters from Washington State, Utah, Montana, Oregon, as well as structural firefighters from Stokes, Forsyth County, and probably additional support as far as structural firemen coming in from across the state as well.
We have a lot of volunteer departments out here, and those, have been historically understaffed for the past 3 years. Everybody's dealing with it. Are those extra units that we're pulling in from other places to supplement any of those kinds of understaffing that we're seeing at volunteer departments right now? Or?
Yeah, absolutely, and we're trying to give those folks a rest because a lot of the, our rangers and foresters that have responded throughout the state, whether they came from Region 3, have been up there supporting fire suppression for the last couple of weeks, or if they've come from their own counties where they're doing initial attack on a daily and nightly basis there. So.
And you also mentioned this morning that you're going to have, obviously, firefighters on the mountain until the fire's out completely. It could bleed into Thanksgiving weekend.
Absolutely.
How important is it for you to keep firefighters on the mountain this entire time?
Yeah, it's very important. When the rains hopefully do arrive, firefighters won't typically be engaged because with those rains, the winds come. Firefighters are reporting to us that there's a lot of falling trees, burning, dead snags are coming down. That's very, very dangerous. With those winds and with the rain, we'll pull those firefighters out tomorrow if it is a heavy rained event, and then we'll be more in kind of a monitoring mode if you have it tomorrow day. And then as soon as the rain is out of there, they'll re-engage and go after fortifying those contingency lines as aggressively as possible and mopping up as well.
When it comes to a cause at this moment, are we thinking more on the man-made, man-influenced cause or natural cause?
All causes are human-related except lightning right now, lightning strike, and I feel like we're pretty confident in ruling out a lightning strike. Our focus right now is suppressing and containing the fire, as well as the number one priority is citizen safety, firefighter safety, and then structural protection. And then once we have good containment on that fire and mop up, probably our law enforcement division will be handling the cause and origin and any LE if necessary.
And you mentioned this morning that this fire specifically is a lot harder to contain than the Pilot Mountain fire 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
How big of a worry is it for y'all going in and knowing that information?
Well, it's definitely been one of the more challenging fires in District 10 of Piedmont that we have faced in the last 15 years. A 100-acre fire in the woods with no structures is just a fire in the woods. It's not that complicated. When you have structures that are threatened, things get a lot more complicated that way. And just the drought that we're in right now and extreme fire behavior and just the ruggedness of that terrain, it couldn't have been in a more difficult spot, to attack.
It's been spreading. You've shown us it's sort of spread in all directions down and away from the mountains. This is kind of a two-parter. Which direction are you most confident in getting containment first, and which direction has you most worried at this
well,
moment?
the perimeter area is where you see the most active fire, and that's mainly at nighttime is where you will see the fire. What has already burned in the center, there's probably still a lot of hot pockets in there, a lot of residual smoke, a lot of heat, but on the outside is where you're going to see the most active fire.
Was there a burn ban in place already for Stokes County?
No, there was not.
Is there now?
No, there is not at this time. We are advising homeowners, landowners to discontinue any kind of outdoor burning until conditions dramatically improve, but there is no ban at this time.
There was a 6,000-gallon tanker truck that filled up this morning. Tell us a little bit about that and how you use that.
We will use those structural firefighters and their apparatuses to provide structure protection. We have those tankers, those engines strung out all along Sourtown Mountain Road and then at the camps. And then we already have some over here in this community as well. Wherever there's any concern, we can bump those engines around for structural support and protection.
Wind's already picking up.
Yep, yes it is, yep.
I mean, what are you thinking right about now as you feel this wind picking up?
You know, this is we're entering into peak burning hours as far as the day goes, kind of 1 to 5 o'clock in the daytime, and it's a struggle. It's been a fight since we've been up there, and like I said, it's one of the more difficult and challenging fires that we've taken suppression action on in years.
Can you talk a little bit more about that fight and what keeps you guys going when you know that it's a long ways from over at this moment?
Yes, a long ways from over. The best news is the rain that we've got coming. That's going to help us out tremendously. And you know, our firefighters are still coming in from across the state, and this is what they train for. This is what they do. Nobody wishes fire on anybody, but our Rangers are excited to be here. And like I said, this is what they're trained for, and this is what we do.
We're expecting more aerial operations throughout the day, and that'll continue until the end of this fight.
That's right. Yeah, we had a little bit more aviation on the fire yesterday. We had one scout plane, 2 fixed wing planes dropping water, 2 helicopters dropping water. There's been 1 helicopter that's been making water drops this morning, and I believe they are refueling right now at the time. I do believe the governor, from another bit of news, the governor did extend the state of emergency into the Piedmont area from the western part of the state, so funding will be available.
Anything else that you think is important for people to know at this moment? I mean, any other roads that are shut down or traffic impacts or anything like that?
Yeah, Sourtown Mountain Road is still closed.
Yeah.
Just to fire traffic right now, and you know, there has been and there will be smoke impacts. The smoke impacts are worse at nighttime, and we just urge people use caution in driving. And I know there's a people want to look, you know, stop along the highways. We've had people in past years actually stop on Highway 52 and to take pictures, and we just ask that they do not do that. Drive with the utmost caution and be careful. So we don't need any more additional incidents at this time.
I know it's only 12 homes right now that you said you asked folks to leave, but have you set up a shelter or anything for people if they need to evacuate?
Stokes County EM, Emergency Management, there was a discussion about that. The need at this time was not there from what I was told. So.
Good. Good.
Everybody's good?
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Take
All right.
And you were just listening live into a press briefing from Jimmy Holt with the North Carolina Forest Service, giving a lot of helpful information to our reporters there on the scene. We're told that fire is still moving at this hour. Winds are picking up. You could hear it in that live report as well. They're concerned about the wind before that rain comes tomorrow, but Holt said he's hopeful that this rain is coming at just the right time. Tomorrow, they will be in monitoring mode to keep those firefighters safe. Jimmy Holt said he's surprised how much that fire moved overnight, very active. He said, quote, couldn't have been in a more difficult spot to attack there where the fire is burning on Sourtown Mountain. Over 350 acres have now burned there on the mountain. If you are just tuning in this afternoon, the fire broke out Saturday night. He feels good. He feels positive about the progress. There was a request for 12 homes to be evacuated along Sourtown Mountain Road that is still currently closed. Crews are working to protect the structures, specifically near the Mountaintop Youth Camp as well as the YMCA Camp Haynes, where the fire is approaching. He's strongly advising homeowners to discontinue any outdoor banning, although a burn ban is not in place right now. Good news from that briefing, we learned Governor Roy Cooper has extended a state of emergency to help free up resources to the Piedmont area. Stokes County Emergency Management is not opening up a shelter for people at this time who may have had to evacuate, but we will of course keep you updated when we learn more on air and online. For live updates regarding this fire on our website, On WXII12.com, you'll find a live up-to-the-minute blog breaking down every update we get on the Swartown fire, along with extended interviews and sound from first responders. We invite you to tune in to WXII 12 News at 4 p.m. for live team coverage. We take you back to regular scheduled programming now.